Thank you, Colonel Lee. It's so good to see you, General Brooks. I'm really excited to see you on the screen. I wanted to get your perspective on North Korea. So do you think the U.S. can take a different approach with North Korea other than continuing sanctions? And if so, what is that approach?
Thank you, Sarah, and I appreciate the question. And this is the great question that all would like to be able to answer. But let me get to the heart of it. Can the U.S. take a different approach? Well, I would first say the alliance has to be what takes the different approach if there is one. And the approach should be an alliance approach one way or another, same or changed. The reason that's important is North Korea would seek to drive a wedge into the alliance and to fracture it, and if possible, to dismantle it. That plays into the interests geopolitically of China and Russia to see a weakened or a eliminated Korea-U.S. alliance. So the approach really needs to be an alliance approach. Now, having said that, there are several things that come to my mind. With whom does one reconcile, if not with one's enemy? I mean, if there's ever going to be reconciliation, it must be with the enemy. And that enemy right now is North Korea. The relationship continues to be a militarized relationship. Normal diplomatic relations do not exist. There are periodic engagements, certainly diplomatically, but there's not a normal diplomatic relationship. There is an armistice relationship. That is a military relationship between the alliance and North Korea. I'm of the belief that we can sustain the armistice for an indefinite period of time if we do nothing different. I believe that. I also think that that is not the road to peace for the Korean Peninsula. The preservation of the armistice indefinitely is not a solution for peace. So in order for there to be a step toward and progress thereafter toward actual peace on the Korean Peninsula, I do believe a different approach has to be taken. And I'm of the view, and not all agree with me on this, that the alliance is in a position of strength, and North Korea is not in a position of strength. It will seek to create some tactical moments of strength or of advantage, or maybe said differently, a condition where they have the best face before they take a step toward any type of progress or reconciliation. It will always be step by step for North Korea. North Korea has no reason to trust the alliance. North Korea also has no reason to fear the alliance. The alliance has never attacked North Korea, not since 1953. It's a fact. No matter what North Korea says about worrying about it, they may be worried about it, but they really have nothing to fear because that hasn't happened, unless they provoke something that creates a circumstance that goes beyond the thresholds that have already been met through the last years since 1953. And so having said that, the new approach is one of taking a higher degree of risk, not to release the sanctions. The sanctions need to continue, but finding ways to open the door to dialogue with North Korea, which might include a declaration of an end of hostilities. And we can talk a little bit later about what that means, perhaps, but it doesn't mean that USFK is gone tomorrow. It doesn't mean the UN command has stood down the next day. It is the first step in transitioning from an armistice relationship to a normal international relationship. That's what it signals. And it's perhaps more important for North Korea than it is for the alliance. The alliance can take some risk by granting that, in my opinion. And certainly not all agree with me on that. I know particularly conservatives in South Korea don't like that idea, but that's okay. You know, this is about looking for ways to solve a decades-old problem. Remember, this is my last point. The armistice was supposed to be a temporary condition until a lasting peace could be created. We should not and must not be satisfied with these nearly 60 plus years of armistice as though that is the lasting condition of peace. It isn't, and it can't be. So thanks very much for the question. And once again, we appreciate you being an intern with us as well, Sarah.
Thank you.